You know, at first I didn't really think about it, but when somebody mentioned it, you know, I do see the similarity now myself. So you remember back in this video, we played that Roblox Obby custom map in ULTRAKILL, and when we did that, somebody commented for a tier list, how well would each enemy do a Roblox Obby? And you know what we always say when we don't even have a set schedule in the month for this? It's that time of the month again where we put enemies in a random tier list with some random logic that doesn't make any sense. But before we get into this video, guys, join my Discord server. Okay, that's it. Enjoy the video. Now it's time to go to our beloved tier list made by beloved VM squared. So here we go. How well would each ultra kill enemy that we see in the campaign, by the way, do in a Roblox obby in this tier list? And first off, we got the filth. Now I know in every past tier list, filth has managed to land on the F tier because F stands for filth, of course. But this time around, it's gonna be different because Roblox obbies majorly revolve around jumping a lot, and the filth can do that really well. So I believe the filth can genuinely do well in Roblox obbies unless it has to use a sprain, in which case it's gonna suck. But we're gonna consider the same levels in the Roblox custom map, so nothing too crazy. That map wasn't too difficult, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. The filth finally didn't land on the F tier. It's such a big day for the filth. And for the stray, I've never really seen a stray jump before in ULTRAKILL. Unless you make it jump, you really have to think, and it honestly depends on the level varieties. So like if there are floating spheres that you gotta jump on, or the big bad red stripes that you gotta jump over. And we also have those climbing ladder levels, but we didn't have those in the ULTRAKILL custom map. So I think the stray also goes in the, I guess because it's a complete human, well, it has the humanoid body, it goes in the A tier, not S, because I don't just see any reason for them, okay? For a schism, I think it's gonna have a little bit of trouble doing Roblox obbies because of that, you know, messed up body, and also because of its dispositioned head. Maybe it's gonna have a flawed depth perception, so in some incoming object that's gonna one-shot kill you, it's not gonna be able to see it coming. So I believe for that reason it goes in the C tier. Now, I have just realized flying enemies have the biggest, most unfair advantage here. They can just fly over the obby itself. They can just go out of bounds, you know? They can just go off course and go straight to the finish line. So it's not even gonna be much of a trouble for any flying enemy at all. Maurice and every future flying enemy is gonna go to the S tier because they can just fly to the finish line. Now, something wicked though. We know that in terms of combat, something wicked excels because it can just one-shot everything, but I'm not sure about obstacle courses. I think it's gonna be the same area as a stray, but I still don't know though. You know what, I want to put something wicked in the S tier because something wicked is gonna be absolutely wicked, as in the positive meaning of the word, in obbies, so why not? A sword machine. Sword machines are intelligent. I don't see a sword machine do worse than a filth, to be honest. And speaking of the filth, actually I'm thinking of putting the filth on the C tier because in no way it can do better than the schism, and because it might be equally as stupid as the schism. Is gonna have the same troubles as the schism, except the parts where the filth might need hands that the schism has hands. They're just the same. Alright, now going back to the sword machine, I believe it goes in the S tier because Sword Machine is actually, despite being a really early enemy, it is really good. A Cerberus, however, is not gonna land on S or A because, you know, at the end of the day, it's night. It's a statue, so it's gonna have some slow reflexes in a couple places. Like, you know how it takes so long for them to rev up their dashing so they can ram into V1? I'm thinking like that, because they're gonna take a while to prepare themselves for whatever obstacle it is ahead of them, so it goes in the B tier. Cerberus have to lock in to be fast enough for everything. Now a drone goes in the S tier, obviously. A street cleaner, I think it should go in the same tier as A. The reason why it's not S, because I still have my doubts whether a street cleaner can process something beyond W plus M1. The cancerous rodent that isn't very is actually gonna do worse than the filth. That's the first time in history because it's just a rat. Like, what is it gonna do? It can't even jump. We've seen it not be able to jump at all in ULTRAKILL. And the same shit as very cancerous rodents. Just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's better necessarily or stronger in terms of obstacle courses, so it goes in the F tier, same as the color of it. A hideous mess. Now this is a difficult one. I'm thinking because it's like too big for some parts, but it also has 6 legs, so maybe it could use those to be a little fast on the red stripes levels, because I have my doubts I'm gonna place it in the C tier, the same as a filth, surprisingly, because maybe it could just be too big for any Roblox obbies that is designed for, you know, the regular Roblox model. So we're skipping right over to V2. As we did play that custom map, we witnessed how easy it was for V1, so it's gonna be the exact same case for V2 as well, so it goes in the S tier, same as V2 the second. The V model's movesets are just unstoppable, man, and I think a soldier would do pretty well. Soldiers are locked in versions of strays, so I mean, I see no reason for the soldier to do worse than a stray or equal to a stray. It would do really well in Roblox obbies. You know, it's overall a simple concept because Roblox obbies are not really all that difficult from the ones that I have played, at least. In my 3 to 4 years of playing it before Iran sadly bans it and me eventually losing interest, yeah, enemies are gonna do well, most of them anyway, and a mind flayer instantly S tier, not because of the usual reasons in other tier lists, but because it's a flying enemy. And the corpse of the King Minos, I have no idea what to think on that, to be honest. The corpse of King Minos is too big for any obby, but that could also mean that he can just step over to safe spots throughout all the levels and just skip over to the finish line, you know? If the parasites cooperate to make the corpse do the obby by placing its feet very cautiously down, it can very easily finish it. So, I mean, there's a chance that it doesn't happen, so it goes in the A tier. Remember, it's on the A tier, but it's very conditional, and I'm not gonna put it in a worse tier. Minos Prime, on the other hand, though, we know for certain it's gonna go in the S tier. Now, here's an interesting thing. Flesh Prison itself is gonna go to F tier. It can't even move if it wanted to. But at spawns, however, they can just fly, so it goes in the S tier. This is the first tier list where the spawns of the prisons are gonna be doing better than the prisons themselves. Gabriel non-racist mode is gonna go to S tier, obviously, same as Gabriel racist mode despite being racist, same as a virtue, it can just fly over everything. Man, this is easier on my part because I don't have to think much on it and it's straightforward. Now, a stalker, we've seen how sluggish or slow a stalker walks, so it goes in the D tier. Not F tier because it's not completely unable to finish an obby. It has a small chance. Now, a Sisyphean insurrectionist, this guy can jump however long it wants, so it goes in the S tier. One of the very few non-flying enemies that can also skip the whole obby as easily as a flying enemy. Now, Sisyphus Prime. Sisyphus Prime can just teleport to the finish line, man. It's not even any difficult for him. I know Prime Souls don't teleport necessarily, they just move really fast, but they still can just finish it very quickly. Now, we got a Sentry. A Sentry can just jump in the case of doing Roblox obbies, so it's gonna be the same as a Cerberus, not a filth, because I don't think sentries are necessarily stupid, or at least as stupid as a filth. Now, a Leviathan though, only if the obby is water based, like those cool and innovative Roblox obbies that we have only seen a few of ever. They are so few and rare in those special obbies where they just so happen to occur underwater. Only Leviathan then can participate in them, otherwise not. So very conditional, so it goes in the B tier, or maybe even C tier. Yeah, let's put C tier because underwater obbies are really rare. An idol is just a statue, it cannot do any obbies. But a ferryman though goes in the S tier because we have seen how skilled the ferryman is in moving around and combat and stuff. Next up we got a mannequin. Mannequins are also very fast, like faster than Ferryman fast. And they can jump and stick to surfaces, so I guess that makes them alone go in the C tier. I mean S tier, that's C, this is S, it goes in the S tier. Now I really don't think a Minotaur can do really well. At the end of the day, it's just a big cow. And I don't think cows can do really well in Roblox obbies, so I think it goes in the C tier. As long as it only has to jump, it can do the level, but other than that, not so much. Now a big Johninator. A big Johninator is kind of a menace when you try to fight it. It's as annoying as V2, some could say, and it also reuses V2's AI, so I don't think it's out of the question that it's gonna do as well as V2. Guttermans are big and slow, and in obbies where speed is key, I don't think it shines well in that field. So it's maybe gonna go in a B tier, not as bad as the ones in C tier though. A gutter tank, however, gutter tanks are a bit faster than gutter men, and by a bit I mean a lot. And if the gutter tanks are careful enough to not slip in the obbies, it's gonna be doing well. So it goes in the A tier, I say. Now after that, we got a puppet that we know can't do jack shit. Goes in the F tier. Actually no, hold on, let's properly think about it. In those levels where you only have to walk and nothing else, like, you know, those very thin stripes, you can only do those, and even then it's gonna be very slow, so it goes in the D tier, the same as a stalker. We got Earth Mover. I don't think Earth Mover can do any obbies, man. Okay, either we have to consider if the finish line registers only 1 foot of the Earth Mover, like it just steps over to the finish line because of how ginormous the Earth Mover is. In that way, it's gonna have no problem at all, so it would go in the S tier, but that still depends. Or I'm just saying some horseradish, and it really does belong in the S tier because all it does need is 1 big step to the finish line, or small step. Now normally tier lists would end right here, but since now we live in a post-fraud era, we got Providence next. So a Providence, same thing as every other flying enemy, instant S tier. And next we got a Death Catcher, which is the same as an idol, so it goes in the F tier, it can't move. A Power goes in the S tier because it can just fly. A Mirror Reaper. A Mirror Reaper can actually just teleport. Yeah, it's gonna be the same case as Sisyphus Prime, where I said it's gonna teleport, but not really. But a Mirror Reaper can genuinely teleport, so it goes in the S tier for that. And Geryon can just fly, man. This tier list was low-key lame, because all the flying enemies can just fly. The only people that we really had to think on were every enemy that wasn't in the S tier, and with the sole exception of maybe a soldier or a sword machine, man, or maybe even something wicked. This tier list was no trouble at all. So there y'all have it. ULTRAKILL enemies ranked based on how well they can do in a Roblox obby. So if you got this far in this video, guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, or maybe even comment or subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.